You are live with the App Show. Mike Agerbo here with John Biehler. We have a great program for you today. Later on, we'll be looking at a couple new smartphones that are out there that you might want to have a look at. One is a new Samsung phone, an S20 Fan Edition.
FE.
I've never heard of a Fan Edition phone before, but we got our good friend Ted Kritsonis from Toronto to tell us all about it. He'll also be chatting about music subscriptions, and specifically this week, YouTube. They've got some great music subscription plans that I think you'll want to hear about. And we've got a great subscription series up on our website that Ted Kritsonis has written. Everything from Spotify to YouTube to Kobo. It's all up there. Again, GetConnectedMedia.com. We're also giving away a Samsung Galaxy A51 smartphone. All you have to do is hit the newsletter tab. All the instructions are there. Let's talk about some of the news this week, and maybe specifically, John, something from Amazon. They are slowly taking over the world. I mean, they've got Amazon Prime Video, their delivery service. They own the book market. Well, now there's another ecosystem brewing, John.
Yes.
This is interesting. It's called Amazon Sidewalk. And let me see if I can explain this. A lot of us have Amazon and Ring devices in our home. Ring is their kind of security division. They make the Ring lights, the Ring video doorbell, alarm system, all sorts of stuff. Of course, there's Amazon. We know their Alexa devices, the Echo speakers. Well, this new Amazon Sidewalk, basically it's about extending your home network out further than your home, anywhere for up to half a mile away. So how are they doing that? Well, if you opt into this program, essentially your Amazon devices, certain Ring devices, like I have a floodlight on my garage. I have some Amazon Echo speakers here. They're going to act as bridges.
Basically turn your home network and your devices into a sort of a Amazon mesh network, if you will.
That will go through the entire neighborhood, because in your neighborhood, there's probably a lot of other people that have these devices. So why would you want this? Is a good question. Sometimes, like with my Ring floodlights and lights that I have out front, the signal isn't always as strong. Well, if they were part of this Amazon Sidewalk network, it could pick up signals from my neighbor and relay that. Maybe I need to send the signal to turn it off at a certain time. And if my Wi-Fi wasn't strong enough, but my neighbor's was, and they're part of this network, it would relay it through that. So it's using a combination of Bluetooth and the 900 megahertz spectrum. I know that sounds really nerdy, but it's a low frequency, low bandwidth. You can't push a whole lot of data through it, but it goes a long way, like half a mile. It's the same bandwidth as or frequency as the UHF radio antennas.
The amateur radio channel. Yeah.
And so already another third-party company called Tile, the little tile trackers, they're all over this. They're signed up. So why is this important? Well, these tile trackers only work with Bluetooth. So if you have one of these tile trackers in your wallet or on your bike and you lose it, the only time you'll know if it's found, if someone else in that tile network, like they've got their phone near it. So it's not like perfect.
No, but it's better than nothing.
Yes. And so if this Amazon Sidewalk thing really picks up, you'd be covered everywhere.
What's interesting about this announcement, though, is the backwards compatibility.
Yeah. Like it goes back to some of these Amazon Echo speakers to 2017.
Right.
They must have known about this years ago.
Well, the thing, a lot of times these devices have a system on a chip in it. So it actually comes with a lot of features that may or may not even be turned on for the purpose that the device was made for. But it is actually cheaper for them to include that chip than to not. But it'll be interesting to see what secret things are back in those devices.
Again, it's called Amazon Sidewalk. We're going to be following up with this in the coming shows just to give you more information, but this is a big deal and you need to know about it. When we come back from the break, we'll be talking with Ted Kritsonis about YouTube Music, a new subscription service for you and the family. Back after this. You are back with the show. Mike Agerbo here with John Biehler. We've been doing a subscription series up on our website about all the different ways that money is being milked from you, in a good way, I guess. We probably all have Netflix. There's Amazon Prime. There's Apple Music. There's Spotify. There's Deezer. Everyone's coming out with subscription services now. And they're kind of appealing, right? Because they're typically, I think the magic price is around $10.
Is it cheaper though versus the old way where we'd go and buy our own media versus eating from the trough of media?
I think it's cheaper. Like I used to go to Rogers Video all the time and I'd buy like the used videos, and that was costing me a small fortune because even though they were like 10, 20 bucks, I would be spending probably 50 bucks a month, 60 bucks a month on movies.
But what's your subscription services for all of those things?
Oh, John, I don't want to add that up. No, you're right. But from a video perspective, I don't know, maybe it's half that now. It's not bad, but some of them are confusing.
Yes.
And so that's why we're doing this. So we've got some great articles up on our website if you want to try to understand what the best value is and just some of the caveats with some of them. They've got all sorts of different price plans and different levels. So we're trying to demystify that. We've got a great partner in that. His name is Ted Kritsonis out of Toronto, one of our favorite tech journalists out there. Thanks for joining us, Ted.
Good to be with you guys.
This week we're covering YouTube music. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually interested in this segment because I'm thoroughly confused now about all the Google and YouTube music subscriptions, because it used to be Google before, right?
Well, okay. So, I got to preface everything here with, you got to listen carefully because there are some confusing elements to all this. So I'll start off with to your point, Google Play Music is going away. Okay. It's disappearing. So by the end of the year, it's going to be gone. And it's being replaced by YouTube Music. Now, YouTube Music already exists, so it's already out there, and you can already subscribe to it. Whereas with Google Play Music, they're no longer taking new subscriptions. So if you want to subscribe to Google's music service, you got to go to YouTube Music. All right? Are you with me?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm surprised they didn't find a way to throw their typical name in there, Google Nest Music or something.
Yeah, no. I mean,
it's so confusing with that stuff.
Yeah, I understand why, because YouTube is well known, and obviously there's a lot of music on there, and there's another reason I think that I'm going to get to later as to why they did it. But the point is that if you are a Google Play Music subscriber, you will have the opportunity to migrate your playlists, basically your whole account. You can migrate it over to YouTube Music. So there is a link actually in the article that I wrote where Google kind of outlines how that works, and it seems like it's a pretty seamless process. I was not a Play Music subscriber, so I didn't go through it, but it seems like it's a pretty simple thing to do. And they're kind of forcing the hand of people to do this because they're actually taking features away from Play Music in order to get people to do it. So there's that.
That sounds like a great plan.
What could go wrong? Okay, so Google Play Music. It's dying. By the end of the year, it's not going to exist. Everyone's getting migrated to YouTube Music. Same price. What price plans are we looking at?
Yeah, so it starts at $9.99. Okay, for a single user plan, or you can go. It was $14.99 last I saw for a family plan.
Yep.
Which gives up to actually 6 family members.
Okay.
Access. Okay, so. Now, I have to go through another slightly confusing element here. All right, so hopefully I can articulate it well. Now, YouTube Music Premium, that's the paid subscription. Now, you can use YouTube Music for free, but there are limitations. Like, for example, you can't create your own playlists. You're limited to about 5 skips per hour. You also have to use the app while it's on. So if you switch apps on your phone or tablet, the music stops. Okay, you with me?
That's not appealing.
Record scratch.
Yeah.
Record scratch. That's it. Now, if you're using premium, of course, then all those things are lifted, and you can listen to your heart's content, and you're fine. So now, YouTube Music Premium is different from YouTube Premium.
That was my question, because this was starting to sound very appealing to me because, I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos and I hate all the ads and stuff, and, it'd be great to get rid of that, but it's not the same.
No, they're not the same, but there is a value add here that I wanted to point out. So YouTube Premium starts at $11.99 per month, and it includes, Mike, what you were just talking about, which was removing the ads from the videos, but you also get YouTube Music fully, like YouTube Music Premium thrown in there too.
Oh, so just for $2 more, you get.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So for $2 more, you're getting the ad. You're basically eliminating all the ads from the video, and you can download videos for offline viewing from YouTube.
Okay.
So if you're a YouTube Premium subscriber, you get all of Music Premium, no ads, plus you can download for offline viewing.
So what are we up to? $12 now? 12?
Yeah, we're up to $12 now. Yeah. So now one thing I wanted to point out too that makes YouTube Music Premium unique and different from Spotify and some of the others is that it taps into the music that is on YouTube video, like the YouTube video platform. You can watch videos on it, or you can just listen to the, or just have the audio or watch the video. And you can create playlists that, bring in, like one thing YouTube is known for is having a lot of live performances and a lot of remixes.
Yes.
So if you want to add those into a playlist with, studio tracks, you can. I mean, I've been doing it. It's actually quite cool. So if you have an artist or a genre that you like, and you want it just to be remixes or just live performances, you can just add the ones that you want and listen to those.
That's actually interesting because quite a lot of times the music that I like, live DJ sets, are like 2 hours long. And the only way to get them onto my phone or to play them back would be to rip them and download them and do it that way. But if I can just create a playlist that includes all that stuff, that's kind of cool.
Okay, absolutely.
So Ted, I got questions. So YouTube Music or YouTube Music Premium, is it just like basically YouTube music videos, or is it like just like the audio tracks like you would have on Apple Music and Spotify?
Okay, so it's actually both. So if you're a YouTube Music subscriber, you're getting the studio tracks. Okay, so you're getting the library of just music, just the audio files.
Yes.
But you're also getting the music videos as well. So you can watch, but only music videos. So it's not, you can't access, like an interview or anything else that's related to the artist.
Or a concert video that is from somewhere else.
Yeah, so I did notice that live tracks do show up, even if they're not official.
Yes.
So it seems like what YouTube does is that they'll bring in anything that is musical. So as long as it's a video and there's music, being played or performed, they'll bring it in. So it's actually it's actually the most unique music service in that regard. The only one I can think of that's close would be SoundCloud. When it comes to live performances and remixes. But here, basically, you've got all this, like you can have a playlist of studio tracks and live and then remixes. It's crazy, but the caveat though is that you don't get some of the other content that you would get from other services like podcasts, comedy, white noise, spoken word. That kind of content, unfortunately, is not available on YouTube Music Premium.
But it is on YouTube.
But it is on YouTube. So that's why the YouTube Premium for a couple bucks more might be more worth it, especially if you're just watching YouTube all the time too.
So from my understanding, YouTube Premium, you said $12.99 a month for single. They've got $11.99. Sorry, they've got $17.99 for family membership. So that includes you and 5 other family members, which that's like a tremendous value, especially if you get access to no ads on any YouTube videos you're watching. Right. You're getting the full YouTube music library and all the music videos. Like one thing I love doing is like when hopefully we'll entertain one day when the apocalypse ends here with the lockdown. I loved having people over and I've got like a big screen and just playing music videos. And the easiest way was like to go through YouTube, but then, all the ads and stuff start coming in.
So they try to annoy you enough to get you to pay.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's really, but there's one other thing that you do get, and I should mention this because it could be important to somebody watching. You also get YouTube shows. So people may not know, but YouTube actually produces its own shows.
Are they still doing that?
Oh yeah. The YouTube originals, they're still out there. Yep. So you get access to all of those as well when you're a YouTube Premium subscriber, not Music Premium.
See, now I got a problem, Ted. I've got Apple Music, and so that was kind of the first one.
We'll be doing that one soon.
Okay, but so I got a family plan, so the whole family's on that, and all the kids and stuff. They've created all these playlists and stuff, and so there's no way I can ever really migrate away from Apple Music. Like they'll go insane. I'll be kicked out of my house. Like the kids will take over, and then I got Spotify, Ted, because that just seemed to be more compatible with a lot of the smart home stuff that was happening at the time. And my Tesla will just use Spotify. It doesn't use anything else. So now, So now I got to get YouTube Premium Music.
Yeah, and actually, it's a good thing you pointed that out, that because Spotify has an advantage that way. The way it connects to speakers,
Yes,
right? Like just how simplistic it is and straightforward. Unfortunately, YouTube Music doesn't have that. I found it was not as straightforward. Like Chromecast is easy, that's fine, but it's not as straightforward in getting to to other speakers. Like there's a Sonos integration. So you don't have to, if you have a Sonos system, you don't have to worry about that because it's already in there. But unfortunately, when it comes to like, whether it's through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, if you're going to get to another speaker, it's not as seamless as Spotify is.
Yeah.
So there is that element to it. But, in your case, I mean, or for anybody watching, YouTube offers a 30-day trial.
Yeah.
For Music Premium. So
I'm totally trying this out. Because I have I don't have any money now. Why not get another music subscription service?
Yeah, I got to tell you, the compelling thing for me was the live music and remixes.
Yeah,
that was because
without the ads.
Without ads, and it's incredible because you do a search, and of course the search just narrows everything down to just that type of content. So
that almost in itself is pretty valuable. Because think about when you do a search for something, you get all the crazy people doing their own video versions and covers and stuff like that, right? Yeah. That wouldn't be official artists.
John sings Billy Joel's hits.
Sure.
Maybe that will be on there. I don't know.
and it should be noted that this is an inherent advantage that YouTube Music has over Google Play Music.
Yes.
Right? So part of the reason Google is making this migration is because they want to actually fuse the content that is available on YouTube, which is in abundance, of course, with the catalog or like the library was already available on Play Music anyway. So it's basically a marriage of two things together that the company offers, and I gotta say it works pretty well. I found it very compelling, and it's something that I would be interested, perhaps, in maybe subscribing to.
Been talking with Ted Kritsonis all about the YouTube Premium and the YouTube Music Premium services. If you want to find out more information about it, we've got a whole series of these subscription blogs up on our website, GetConnectedMedia.com. Ted's done a fantastic job. It demystifies a lot of it and just spells it out in plain language that normal people can understand. And Ted, this has been enlightening today, so thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
When we come back from the break, more Tech to Talk. Stay tuned. Interesting times for Huawei out in the marketplace. They've been one of the leaders in smartphones over the past few years. Obviously having a few issues with the U.S. government right now. I think that might change in November if the winds change. But they've just recently released a new model that I think is probably one of the better camera phones out on the market right now. I've had a chance to try it out for the past couple of months. It's called the Huawei P40 Pro. What makes this one a little different than the other Android phones out there is that it's not using the Google mobile services. So it doesn't come preloaded with the Google Play Store and things like Google YouTube and Gmail and what have you. It does, however, run a stock version of Android 10, which is kind of the big standard for smartphones in the world right now. On the line, we've got our good friend Paul Dayco from Huawei to help us understand how this phone fits in the smartphone world and how to get apps for it. Thanks for joining us, Paul.
My pleasure.
So as I had mentioned, this particular phone doesn't have the Google Play Store. How do people get their favorite apps for this phone?
Well, there's actually a bunch of different ways you can get your apps, and it's not very different from what you would normally do on a regular Google GMS device. First off, obviously, what you can do is from your previous device, you can connect together called Phone Clone, and that allows you to transfer the majority of your previous apps from your previous device onto your new device. Now, we have something called the App Gallery, and App Gallery is our version of the Play Store where we have all our apps, and this is the official Huawei app delivery platform that we use. But what's interesting too is we developed something called Pedal Search, and Pedal Search allows you to pretty much scour the internet and try to find apps that's gonna be safe and works and will work on your P40 Pro.
Well, it's interesting. I've had a chance to actually try this out. Like I said, I got to be honest. I was able to basically get pretty well most of the apps I use off of my old Android phone using that phone clone feature. It basically just kind of copies them right over. But for the ones that I couldn't get, or new ones that had come up, if they weren't available in the Huawei app store there, the gallery, you've got the little search bar right on the front screen there, and you basically type in what you're looking for, Instagram, for example, and it just automatically goes out into the internet. And what's unique about the Android world is that Google doesn't have a monopoly on Android stores. Yes, they're probably the biggest one out there, but there are a number of different other Android stores. Like obviously Huawei has their own app gallery. Amazon has their own as well. So what this pedal search is doing is essentially just going out to these other stores and finding those apps that you want to get. And the nice thing too is that it does make sure that they're secure apps, and it will give you updates to those apps once you've downloaded them to your phone in the future.
Absolutely. And again, you touched on the point that I want to mention is actually the safety and security of it all. We go through, security and safety is very important, not just to us, but obviously to our customers. And what we do when we download these apps from pretty much anywhere is they go through a security process to kind of verify that they're not doing it when it's satisfied. It just installs the app and you can use it as normally as you would normally would do.
We're talking with Paul Dayco. He's one of the fellows over at Huawei about their new P40 Pro phone. Let's just quickly talk about the camera on this thing, Paul. It kind of blows me away at how good the photos are on this. Especially in low light conditions. I've been able to take some amazing shots at nighttime now. It's just, I don't even know how it does it, but it just can pick up all the available light and just make photo goodness.
Yeah, it's definitely Huawei smartphones is synonymous with really great pictures. And that's obviously with our partnership with Leica and developing the best camera system possible you can probably put on a smartphone.
Paul, where can people find out more information about the P40 Pro?
The P40 Pro, it's available in pretty much every major carrier in the market today, as well as, obviously you can go into Huawei.com to find out more about our devices, including the P40 Pro and the P40. And you can actually click on there to your favorite and most used carrier, and you can download and you can buy from there directly.
Thanks for joining us today, Paul.
My pleasure.
When we come back from the break, more apps to talk about here on the App Show. Stay tuned. You're back with the App Show. Mike and John here. And guess who's back? We got Ted back because we want to talk about a new Samsung phone that was just announced. Ted, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here, guys.
Samsung, one of the leaders in the Android side. I think they've been battling it out with Huawei. They have been launching some really nice phones this year. Their Galaxy S20 line, the S20 Note as well. They've got the folding phones. And this week they've announced a new version of their S20. Ted, what are they calling this? The fan version?
The Galaxy S20 Fan Edition, or FE for short.
I wanted to be in that marketing meeting coming up with that name. It's kind of a wonky name, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not probably what I would have called the phone personally, but I obviously am not in that, in that pay scale to make those decisions over there in Korea. But in any case, part of the reason they're saying that they called it this is because it's like an ode to the fans. It's like, hey, we want to give something back to the fans, which is basically like, hey, we know we've kind of like, charge you a mortgage payment for our phones for the last little while. So we'll offer something that actually performs really well, and we'll do it for, a much lower price.
And what's price is that in Canada?
What last I saw, because I saw the U.S. pricing. I don't know if you guys have the Canadian pricing there, but I think it was under $1,000. So it's not quite fully mid-range. Like I would have liked for them to have come up with something that was in the $600 range. Kind of something like with the iPhone SE, like in that ballpark, but they didn't do that. They went a little higher than that because they still are treating this as a premium device, but not at an exorbitant fee, like for an exorbitant fee.
I guess they also have to separate this from the A series as well, right? They can't go too low scale, right?
Yeah, they do. They do.
So the price on this here, from what I understand, is $950.
Yeah, I just saw that here too. So 950 is confirmed now as the price in Canada, and it's high. I mean, all things considered, but compared to the other S20 phones, it actually comes out looking cheaper. But I don't know for how long that's going to be the case, because the S20, the S line always drops in price considerably, especially in the fall leading up to February when the next S phone is unveiled.
Well, I think a lot of manufacturers have been releasing their 5G versions of their phones. I know Google is going to be launching something as well. So what are we sacrificing here? It looks still really high end. It's got like their Super AMOLED display, which is silky smooth, decent camera system. What do we take? What are they taking out?
Okay, so the phone that I would most compare this to is the Galaxy S20 Plus. Okay, that was the phone that was in the middle of the three that were launched back in February. That's the phone that it matches up with the most from as far as specs and size and performance. There are a couple things that are a little different. Like this one has the Fan Edition has a smaller screen. It's at 6.5 inch Super AMOLED. But mostly, and of course the back is different because they went with that matte, they call it haze. It's that matte kind of back that they have with the Note 20 phones, right? Very, very nice because fingerprints don't really stick to it, and colors look nice on it, which is why they came out with 6 colors for this phone too.
Wireless charging?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
And water resistance.
So it's not bad value. That's up in flagship phone territory, really.
Well, and they're not saying it's not a flagship. Like it's not like they're saying it's not. Like they're kind of saying, hey, we've got this premium phone that is very much like these other ones we've come out with, but you're not paying the same amount for it. So the camera is almost exactly the same as the S20 Plus. Almost like everything I saw on the specs, that's what it pointed to me, for me at least.
Do you think it's the right time to be bringing out more phones? Apple, it looks like they've delayed their iPhone 12 launch. We were expecting that in their last announcement. But I think if you look at the numbers overall, Ted, smartphone sales are down this year in 2020. I don't know why. There must be something happening.
I think there's something happening.
Economic.
Well, I can weigh in a little bit on that. Yeah. So the top selling phone for Samsung this year was the Galaxy A51.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a sub.
Incidentally, we're giving away on the show.
Yes, go to our website, getconnectedmedia.com, hit the newsletter tab. But that's what price is that? That's $500-$600 that phone.
Not even. It's less than that.
It's $429, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's less than that. So that was their best selling phone, not just in Canada.
Yeah.
But everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
a great phone.
So, yeah, it's a good phone. So I think they realize, like, okay, you know what? We're like very top heavy.
Yeah.
But we need to offer something that can play like something that's really premium, but not be, closer to $2,000. And I think that's really what this is about. I mean, they can call it like this is for the fans or whatever. It's really more like, hey, we're going to try and take less of your money than we did before. Like that's really what this is. I mean, what it comes down to, because like it's not a radically different phone. It's something that's similar at a lower price and comes in a bunch of wacky colors.
And now they basically have something at literally almost every $100 price tier.
Pretty much, yeah.
We're very close to it.
Yeah, because from the A51, the A71, and then this, the Fan Edition is next after that, before you get into the S20 and the Note 20.
Yeah, I think the A71's like 5 something, close to 6.
Yeah, so I guess what you're saying, Ted, in these challenging economic times because of the COVID virus, everything's down as far as sales goes, especially in the tech category and smartphones for sure. Bringing out another $1,500 phone is not doing anyone any favors.
No, and especially given the price point at $950, if you can get the carriers to offer it at a lower price, on a contract on the term, that makes it more palatable for someone who's on a budget. And that's part of the play here, is they make it easier for the carriers to move the units for them too.
Yeah, because a lot of times the carriers will give you like a kind of a hardware value of, anywhere from $200 to $300 if you sign up with them for a couple of years on one of their tab programs. So that would bring that phone down to in the $700 mark that you'd be paying over 2 years, which is more palatable to I think a wider audience.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Because they can't do that with the main phones, with the S20 and Note 20 phones, right? They can't go, like the carriers can't go that low with those, but they can with this. And that I think was part of why they actually came out with this, was that, that those retail channels actually benefit Samsung and the carriers too.
So Ted, you go through a lot of phones. You review a lot of phones like we do. What would be your top couple picks this year as far as value goes? To
be honest, the Pixel 4a, the Google Pixel 4a for me, I mean, at the price point that it starts at, you're getting that phone for under $500. Yeah. And you're getting a camera that frankly is as good as phones that are double, if not more than that. Now you don't get the water resistance and you don't get the wireless charging. So you do sacrifice a couple of key features to get there. But the battery life is good. The performance is excellent. The camera is outstanding. And I mean, what for something that is way cheaper than other phones? I mean, that phone comes out way cheaper than this phone. Yeah, like the fan edition that we're talking about. So
that's my only problem with the Pixel 4a though. Is like you couldn't make it waterproof. Like that should be like the minimum viable phone nowadays.
I agree. Yeah, I really wish they would have just done that. I mean, like, oh, come on, Google. Like you can make it water resistant and still keep it at a good price, but they opted not to, and that's one of the major drawbacks. So as long as you have a case or just you're being a little bit protective of it.
But like, how much would that have added to the cost? Like $1?
Just get some saran wrap.
Here's a Ziploc bag.
We're talking with Ted Kritsonis. Samsung's come out with a new fan edition of their S20 line. Looks to be decent value, coming in around $950 Canadian. I mean, still up there, definitely. But for those that want those premium features, they haven't got the $1,500, or as Ted says, your mortgage payment. Maybe something to have a look at. And Samsung, they make good phones. The decent cameras in this new one. Great screen on it as well. Ted, thanks for joining us as always.
Hey, good to be with you guys. Thank you so much.
That was Ted Kritsonis, our man in Toronto. When we come back from the break, more apps to talk about here in the App Show. Stay tuned. You're back with the App Show. I want to give a special shout out to all our new Toronto listeners. You're listening to us on Toronto 640. Love to have you on board. We've been doing this show for a number of years now, along with our sister show, GetConnected. It's another show that is dedicated to the world of technology and smart homes and everything that keeps us connected, essentially. So that's also here on a number of the Chorus stations, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, and Toronto, and Winnipeg as well. So tune in. We have contests going all the time. We've got a great one right now. It's the Samsung phone.
The A51.
It's a Samsung Galaxy phone. This thing is their best-selling phone, and it's got a fantastic screen, great camera on it. If you've got a smartphone that's a few years old, it's time to upgrade or try to win this one.
Yes.
And so all you have to do is go to our newsletter section.
That's right. On the website, you click on the newsletter tab. There's a bunch of other sort of ad banners for it as well. And you basically just subscribe to our newsletter. That's all you have to do. And depending on which way you come in, you may or may not be asked how you heard about us. And if you're in Toronto, make sure you check off the Toronto 640, and that'll be an additional entry this month.
That's right. You get another entry in it for all the Toronto listeners out there. Don't cheat if you're not from Toronto. We'll know.
Yeah. When you send it to your address from Vancouver, we're not going to send it to you.
But you know what? We've got great prizes going all year round. We're always giving away thousands of dollars of tech prizes each year. And the nice thing is, once you've entered in once, you're set up for the entire year, which is fantastic.
And we don't spam you. So we send you one newsletter a week. Right now, we might start sending a couple additional ones a month, but that's about it. And all it is to tell you what we're doing on the show coming up. And that's it, Also want to point out, we got a great YouTube channel for Get Connected.
do a search for that or get to it through our website, getconnectedmedia.com. We would love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps us make more videos. So we're constantly doing great product reviews, how-to segments, the latest in smart home technology. And again, if you subscribe, it helps us make even more. And it's so easy. You just hit that little subscribe button.
And then hit the bell so you get notified when we actually post a new video.
And we also put all our video podcasts up there as well. So if you enjoy this program and our sister show, Get Connected, you can see the video podcasts in all our colorful video glory. Want to thank everyone that helps put the show together. John, Christina, Stephen, and Graham. We'll see you again next time.